Good morning and welcome to another Minnesota Banking Minute. I'm Carla Bush with the Minnesota Bankers Association, and today I'm joined by Cecelia Cartier, Senior Financial Services Consultant with Banking Tech Partners. Welcome, Cecelia.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what Banking Tech Partner does.
We are a consulting firm that focuses primarily on community and regional banks. We have over 25 years of experience and focus on system optimization, specifications, change management, working with systems like Director, on-base, and with conversion services as well. And that's part of that change management.
Okay, great. So I imagine when you're going into a bank as a consultant, then you're making recommendations, which is always going to involve change. Change is hard, even when it's good. So when you make a recommendation, how do you get leadership and employees aligned on why that change is necessary, especially if the benefits may not be immediately obvious?
It's really a two-pronged approach. When we have the management, it's aligning it with this strategic vision. How is this change supporting the organization? What is that? What are those benefits, both tangible and intangible? And then the other is I call it from a bottom up is what's in it for me, as the employee, as the department, what will make my life better, and focusing on those pieces really addresses both sides, I guess, of that.
Okay.
That change.
So bankers notoriously resistant to change. You know this as a banker yourself. What strategies have you found are most effective to win over the skeptics and the influential stakeholders when you're out there making these recommendations?
So that's a great question because it's really cultural based. But I find that having those open listening sessions, being very communicative, getting folks that are impacted to be able to communicate or to share what their thoughts are, maybe their fears a little bit, and then build that into the plan of the change. Getting them involved in work groups, again, listening sessions, pilot groups, identifying those champions and key influencers that they can help promote that change.
Okay. So, you mentioned communication and work groups. So everyone's got different communication styles, different ways of inputting and outputting information, so to speak. So how do you tailor that communication to, you've got your executives, your frontline tellers, your back of the house compliance people. How do you get to everyone?
I think the key is the multi-point is starting with that base communication that's transparent, consistent, but dynamic so that it can change or be added to when you learn through the process. And that can be done through FAQs and such. But having that base communication, but then also addressing it to those individuals. So you have a presentation that you would give the board of directors.
Sure.
That really addresses where they're coming from. And then the operations team, as an example, would have, okay, what's that going to be to my day-to-day? Frontline staff or customer-facing folks, or how are the customers going to address this, and how should I approach that? So it's taking that a little bit extra time and trying to get to your audience.
Sure.
And then customizing just a little bit, but that base is what's behind it, and that's consistent.
Great. That's great. And really, change is not so hard when you put it that way.
So that's the idea.
Exactly. You mentioned you were a banker for 19 years.
Gosh, I'm gonna say longer than 30.
Like 30. Oh my goodness, I was completely wrong on it. Wonderful. So you know what you're talking about.
I've been in a lot of different banking organizations and different positions, and I think that helps me when I'm working with different individuals in those departments. I don't know what they do, but I understand where they're coming from.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being here. And if you have would like more information on what it is that Banking Tech Partners does, feel free to reach out to Cecelia.